بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا محمد وآله وصحبه أجمعين. Welcome to the second part of the Paڕستە explanation video. I wanted to put it into two parts because the first one was getting too long. We're going to start right now, and I hope all of you benefit and manage to understand this. If you have any questions, put them down below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share the video to anybody who you think may need it. First, جۆرەکانی پاڕستە. The types of پاڕستە. Desmani Kurdida Sejo Paڕستە here. In the Kurdish language, we have three types of Paڕستە. We have Nawi, we have Hawalnawi, we have Hawalkari. I suggest you have a notebook right next to you so you can map these out because these all devolve into deeper topics. And so, Paڕستەی Nawi. First, we're going to start with Nawi, not Hawalnawi or Hawalkari. First, we're going to start with Nawi. جۆرێکی پاڕستەیە سەر بە شاڕستەیە واتایەکی بەندە بە واتای شاڕستەوە و شەی لە یەکدەری پێش دەکەوێت و ئەرکی ئەمانە دەبینێ. First is just the definition. It's Paڕستەی Nawi is a type of Paڕستە. It is dependent to the Sharasta. Its meaning is also dependent to the meaning of the Sharasta, and it has a connecting word before it. We have already studied this. This is just the general definition. The only thing that is different is that Chan erkiek debine. Erk means role, or responsibility, or job. In the Kurdish language, for nouns, for names, we have 7 erk. For names, we have 7 erk. And based on these erks, we define, or we separate the types of the Paṛistە. We have 7, and the Paڕستەی Nawi adheres to 4. The 4 being Bikar, Jegiri Bikar, Nihad, and Berkar. Bikar means the subject, the person who does the action. Jegiri Bikar is the placeholder of the Bikar, meaning the placeholder of the person who does the action. This placeholder is dependent to a topic called Bikar Diyar and Bikar Nadiyar. I'm going to explain that right after I also say these, Nihad and Berkar. Nihad, it's a specific one that we're going to explain later, but for Jegiri Bikar introduces the subject, a Kurdish concept of Bikar Diyar and Bikar Nadiyar. Bikar, or the person that does the action, is sometimes, usually, a parent inside of the sentence. For example, if I give you a sentence, I'm going to say Karo wenegrekei bini, meaning Karo saw the photographer. Here we know the person who did the job of seeing is Karo because he saw the photographer. Karo saw the photographer. But sometimes we can remove the person who does the action. And when we remove the person that does the action, the sentence, because he's been removed, the word in front of it comes to that place and becomes the placeholder for it. For example, we said Karo wenegrekei bini, meaning Karo saw the photographer. Let's remove the Karo. Wenegrekei bini. Wenegrekei bini, he saw, like still, because Kurdish, we have the pronouns still. Wenegrekei bini, so something saw the wenegir. But we don't have Karo anymore. So we add a ra or a re at the end of bini. And we remove that e, meaning instead of saying wenegrekei bini, we say wenegreka bin ra, or wenegreka de bin re. See, when we can go deeper into this topic, but for now, just the general definition. We also have berkar. Berkar, just look at the word berkar, meaning in front of kar, but obviously not in a literal sense, but kar meaning verb. Whatever is affected by the verb becomes the berkar. For example, Karo lafakei khward. Karo ate the sandwich. What did Karo eat? He ate the sandwich. So here, what is being affected by the verb of eat? It's the sandwich. So the sandwich is berkar. Bikar is the person who does the action, and nihad is a thing that's described. But it's described by a specific thing called a guzara, which is one of the karinatos that we're going to have to talk about later, but for now, let's just carry on with Jegiri Bikar. Tebini, Lazmani Kurida Paṛistەی Nawi çwarek debine. Note, in the Kurdish language, Paṛistەی Nawi, the type of Paṛistە that is Nawi, finds 4 roles, or 4 erk from the 7 in the Kurdish language. First, we have the Jegiri Bikar, meaning this Paṛistەی Nawi can become Jegiri Bikar. ئەگەر کاری شارستە کارێکی بکەر نادیار بوو ئەوە پاڕستە ناوێکی ئەرکی دەبێتە جێگیری بکەر. Look, he says, if the verb of the پاڕستە was a verb with a non-apparent, the person who did it, non-apparent action taker, that's when the پاڕستە becomes the جێگیری بکەر, or the placeholder of this action taker. وەک کاری دەزانرێ, نازانرێ, زانرا, دەبیسترێ, نابیسترێ, دەکرێ, ناکرێ, دەهێتە زانین, ناهێنێتە زانین. See, ignore these three at the end. What do all these have in common? They end in this suffix. They end in this re suffix or this ra suffix. This re and this ra is what makes us know that we have a jigri bikar. So look for that. For example, nazan re ka aso la barchi duakot. Duakat. This is bad name. Nazan re. It is not known ka that aso why he was late. Jigri bikar. This pāṛistە over here, this entire pāṛistە becomes a jigri bikar. Of course, it's a pāṛistەی navi, but what type of pāṛistەی navi? Jigri bikar. So it's two stages. Nazanre. It is not known. That is the sharasta because it holds an independent meaning and it is in the beginning, so we can assume. And it does not have anything before it, so we can assume that that is the sharasta. It does not have a connecting verb before it. But the second part has a connecting verb before it, so we assume that it's the pāṛistە. And so here we find that nazanre has a re. Because there's a re, we know that this is a bikar nadiyar, meaning a non-apparent action taker. Ka aso la barchi duakot. That's why aso was late. Ka aso la barchi duakot. Pāṛistەی naviya. Erki jegri bikara. Kari nazanre pedra. This is an extra, but maybe he brings you this example. He's going to be like, oh, pāṛistەی chujore. What type of pāṛistە is this? We know that we have three, navi, hawal navi, and hawal kari. You say navi. Then he's going to ask you, what is the erk? Meaning, what is the role of this pāṛistە? What is the job of this pāṛistەi navi? You're talking to me about pāṛistەi navi. What is the erk? What is the job of it? And you're going to say, jigri bikar, because you know that based on the re or the ra. Now, we have the second type. I hope that is in frame, yep. We have the second type, which is bikar. Agar kari navi sharasa, kari tiena par bu. Awa pāṛistە navi ka erki bikar dabinet. بمرجك بكل شارستە دا نبت وكاري دركوتوا دركفتيا. Because he has brought these two specific examples, look out for these words in the exam. Derkautua or derkautia, which will make it apparent to us if it's a bikar. Meaning, bikar, if the verb that is inside of the sharasta was a tena par verb. That's another concept in the Kurdish language. Oh, pāṛistەi navi erki bikar dabinet. If the verb is a tena par verb, that's when we know that the pāṛistە becomes a bikar. And you need to look out for this. We talk about pāṛistە, but all of them are linked to the sharasta when we talk about its erk. To look at the role of to find the role of the pāṛistە, we have to look at the sharasta. So when we get asked what is the erk of this, what is the type of this pāṛistە, we always look at the sharasta as well. So bikar, if it was tena par. Tena par is a specific type of noun. It's a specific type of verb that is hard to explain right now because it's kind of like a deep topic that we learned across the years. But ideally, essentially, you just have to know that if these two words come up, it's probably bikar. Like the type of the erk of your pāṛistە is probably bikar. Tena par, just give it to you simply. If you have a verb and you can't add the attached personal possessive pronouns to them, the attached personal pronouns to them, they are probably tena par. Meaning, for example, khwarden. If you have khward in a sentence, you can add خوارد, you can make them خواردم خواردمان, or خواردت خواردتان, or خواردی خواردیان. That's completely fine. So that's why we know it's تێپەڕ, because it picks up these personal pronouns, these personal attached pronouns. But with دەرکەوتووە, you can't say دەرکەوتمان, or like دەرکەوتووەمان. That's like, it doesn't make sense. And so in that case, we know that that is تێنەپەڕ. Just follow that exercise roughly, and it's gonna like take you far. That's how I separate it, but there's obviously like more to the topic of تێپەڕ و تێنەپەڕ. And over here we have the example. دەرکەوتووە کە نازدار وانەکەی نووسی. It has appeared so that Nazdar has wrote down, or like has done his homework, or has wrote down his topic. We know that kە نازدار وانەکەی نووسی, because of the ka, we know that it's پاڕستە. And so first step, we finished that, okay, we know it's پاڕستە because it has the ئامرازی لێکدەر in front of it. And now we're going to see what type of پاڕستە it is. So we're going to look at the شارستە. We see there's دەرکەوتووە, the word دەرکەوتووە. And because we saw that word دەرکەوتووە, we know that the پاڕستە becomes بکەر. Yes, and that's pretty much all there is to the بکەر subject as well. Now you're going to come to the third one, which is نیهاد. ئەگەر شارستەکە بە گوزارەیەک کاری ناتەواو زائیدەن کاری ناتەواو دەستی پێکرد، ئەوە ئەرکی پاڕستەکە دەبێتە نیهاد. ئەگەر کاری ناو شارستەکە کارێکی ناتەواو بوو، ئەوە پاڕستە ناویەکە ئەرکی نیهاد دەبینێت، وەک کاری دیارە ئاشکرایە. In Kurdish, we have another concept called incomplete verb. In the concept of the incomplete verb, we know that the verb has to end in 3 ways, so it can be considered an incomplete verb. The ta'akir, or the finisher of the incomplete verbs, is and the guzara and the kainata are what set apart the nihad from the different ones. Nihad is kind of a deep topic. What you want to know in general is that if the sharasta ends like this, with the words, like the words that were given to us were ashkraya and diara, or if you see ashkraya or ashkrabu or ashkra debet, or diara, diarbu, diar debet, just know that that is what we call an incomplete, a kari, ta, kari, nata. And here we can see the breaking down. Paræstê naviye erkî nihada mane kari nata run kirdo. And yeah, here we know that this is the paræstە, based on this, and we know that this is the sharasta, and because this sharasta is a kari, is like the kari nata, this becomes the nihad. This is the guzara, and so this describes this. It says ashkraya, meaning it is apparent. What is apparent? That with unity we will reach our goals. This first part is not very common, like but the second part, meaning if the verb inside of the sharasta is an incomplete verb, that means the paræstە is going to be a nihad. Like for example, like this ashkraya, it is apparent, or diara, it is clear. With these specific words, like for example, we said derkautua, and so this is what makes bikar apparent. That's the like the example that was given to us. And now for the second one, it's diara plus ashkraya is for nihad. The teacher will probably bring these two in most examples, so it's good to memorize them. But the topic of nihad is really way too much for to explain in like a minute. So I suggest either going to other sources or really just going based off of this, like using memorization. But let's go to the other types. Okay, now we have the fourth type, which is berkar. Eğer kari nav şarastaka, kari tiye parbu, au parastana kaman erki berkar debinet. See, like we said, the first for berkar it has to be tiyanapar. Now for berkar it has to be tiyapar, because berkar cannot be tiyanapar, it has to be tiyapar. It's a kind of like a deep concept. and deep topic, so I can't really explain it right now. But generally, we see how there's man linked to this. Zaniu mana. This is how we know that this is berkar. وكاري بيستوما نمان بيستوا زانيو مانا نمان زانيوا تزانيا قوتم برسيم نم برسيم قوت قوتي قوتمان زاني مان. See, these all handle adding a personal attached pronoun to it. Gutman, gut zani man, guti gut. These are all attached personal pronouns, and that's why we know that this is a barkar and this is tiapar. We have noticed paڕستە زانیو man. This man is an indication of barkar. So in this case you'd be like, okay, paڕستەیەکی ناویە یەکەم شت ئەرکەکەی چییە؟ بەرە ئەرکەکەی بەرکارە. That's really all. Yeah, that's really all for the paڕستەی ناوی. Now let's move on. Alright, now we have reached paڕستەی هاوڵ ناوی. Howell now, for the people who are not familiar, means adjective, meaning describing the name. Howell now, the friend of the name. And here in the description it says أورستيا كسب شارستيا واتاكي بندبواتي أو وسفيناويك دكا لشارستة. Same thing. It is a type of paڕستە that is connected to the sharasta meaning-wise and is dependent, but it describes a name that is in the sharasta. وسفيناويك دكا لشارستة. So it's a paڕستە. It's inside of the paڕستە. Its erk is the ones that we're going to describe, but it describes a name that is inside of the sharasta. Syringe, with a focus. paڕستەی هاوڵ ناوی یەک ئەرکی هەیە دەبێتە دیارخەری ناوی شارستە. ئەو پاڕستەیە دەکەونە نێوان هەردوو پارچەی شارستە. This is the easiest one in my opinion, because the other one, the paڕستەی ناوی, has 4 kinds, man. But this one, or like 4 roles that it has to fulfill, 4 erk. This one has only 1 erk. And that erk is diarkheri nawi sharastaka. Diarkher meaning making something clear, like something that makes something clear. So it's the thing that makes the name and the sharasta apparent or clear. Oh, that's the first focus point. The second one, this paڕستەی هاوڵ ناوی is always in the middle. You know how we, in the previous video, discussed that sometimes the paڕستە can be in the middle of the sharasta and the sharasta can be on both sides? When this happens, it is usually, most of the time, paڕستەی هاوڵ ناوی. سلێمانی شارێکی دڵگیرە. That's the sharasta. کە پایتەختی میرنشینی بابان بوو. سلێمانی کە پایتەختی میرنشینی بابان بوو شارێکی دڵگیرە. See? And so we know that the paڕستە is this based on the the Amrazi Legder, which is ka. Slemani Shareki Dilgira has an independent meaning of its own, and there's 2 commas on either side. So we immediately know that this is paڕستەی هاوڵ ناوی, and the paڕستە is in the middle as well. So Slemani Shareki Dilgira sharasta ka Jenavi Legder ka paytaxti mirnishini baban bu. Paڕستەی هاوڵ ناویە. We said this چونکە کەوتوتە نێوان هەردوو پارچەی شارستەکە هەمیشە پاڕستەی هاوڵ ناویە. Always when the paڕستەی هاوڵ ناوی is in the middle, I mean always when the paڕستە is in the middle, we say it's paڕستەی هاوڵ ناوی. It's basically giving it to you if it's like in the exam. And third point, ئەگەر شارستەکە لە سەرەتا هات و ڕستەیەک تابوو لە ڕووی واتاوە ناوێک لە شارستە هەبوو ئەو ناوە پێویستی بە ڕوونکردنەوە هەبوو لەلایەن پاڕستەوە ڕوونکردنەوە دەبێتە دیارخەر. Yeah. Here we have دیارخەر و دیارخەر و دیارخراو. That's the third. Yeah, this is the third focus point actually. ئەگەر شارستە لە سەرەتا هات, if the sharasta was in the beginning. ڕستەیەکی تاو بوو لە ڕووی واتاوە, and was a fully independent meaning-wise sentence. ناوێک لە شارستادا هەبوو ئەو ناوە پێویستی بە ڕوونکردنەوە هەبوو لەلایەن پاڕستەوە ڕوونکردنەوەی وەسفی ناوەکە کرا. پاڕستەکە وەسفی ناو شارستەکە دەکات و دەبێت دیارخەر. The paڕستە inside of a paڕستەی هاوڵ ناوی always carries the erk of diarkhar. That's the single erk, and that's what it always carries, because if it comes in the middle, if the paڕستە is in the middle of رستي آويتا, and the شارستة is on both sides. The شارستة always has a name, or always has a noun inside of it. And so this پاڕستە always takes the role of دیارخەری now, or دیارخەر, because it describes one of the names inside of the شارستە. Don't even get too deep into it, just understand that the erk is always دیارخەر. Always, that's it. پاڕستەی هاوڵناوی. And it is always in the middle. That's it. And that is really all there is for پاڕستەی هاوڵناوی as well. There's like 2 examples at the bottom. پیاوەکەم بینی کە دەشەلی ئەو چراپەی کە ڕووناک بوو کوژایەوە. پیاوەکەم بینی کە دەشەلی. This is a case where it's not in the middle, but it's the third point. پیاوەکەم بینی کە دەشەلی. It says, I saw the man which was, I don't really know what this word means, but which was doing, for example, okay, let's just switch it out. Yeah, no, it's just کە دەشەلی. پیاوەکەم بینی کە دەشەلی. I saw the man when he was doing this action. We know that this is the pāڕستە based on that, but this one requires more understanding the meaning, because we have said a lot of rules, but this one kind of breaks apart from these rules. But here we know, if you know the meaning of this verb right here, you'd know that it relates exactly to the man. For example, like because of that relation, it becomes a diarchar, or it makes a name apparent. But kind of ignore this. I don't think the teacher's going to bring this sort of example. He's probably going to bring one of these. But right over here we have another one. That light, which was bright, turned off. Here, Runak describes shira, that light which was bright. When you say which was bright, what are you talking about? Obviously you're talking about the light. And really that's really all there is to the hawal. Now it's just something that describes another name. Know that the erk is diarcher and it's always in the middle. That's it. Okay, so we have the final one. Last but not least, a pāڕستەی هاوڵکاری. Like we said, hawal now means the friend of the noun, or the thing that describes the name, or like the adjective. Now we have the adverb, or the hawalkar, which describes the car, or the verb. پاڕستەی هاوڵکاری ئەو ڕستەیە کە سبب شارستەیە واتە کێ بەندەبەوەتای ئەوە وەسفی کارێک دەکات لە شارستەدا. Same exact thing as hawal now. It's a pāڕستە as well, but here instead of describing a name, it describes a verb. The 2 syringe over here, syringeەکان, ئەو پاڕستەی هاوڵکاری لە ڕستەدا دەبێتە تاوکەری کاری شارستە. It becomes the finisher of the verb that's inside of the sharasta, meaning that there's a verb inside of the sharasta, like we have here, there is a verb that is chuna. Here the pāڕستە attempts to finish this verb by adding extra meaning to it, which is the first point. If the pāڕستە were to come in the middle, if the pāڕستە were to come in the start, it would become a pāڕستەی هاوڵکاری. Look at this. In the first one, pāڕستەی ناوی, the sharasta is usually in the start, and the pāڕستە is usually at the end. In pāڕستەی هاوڵناوی, it is usually in the middle, the pāڕستە. And pāڕستەی هاوڵکاری, it is usually in the start. So knowing these positions can help you a lot in understanding which is which, and understanding how to identify them. And ئەگەر شارستە لە سەرەتادا هاتوو و پاڕستەش یەکێک لەم ئامرازە لێکدرانی بکەوێتە پێش بەڵکۆ بەڵکی بەشکۆ یان چونکە پاڕستەکەش یەکێک لەم. If the sharasta was in the beginning, ئەگەر شارستە لە سەرەتادا هاتوو پاڕستە یەکێ, and پاڕستە had one of these connecting words attached to it, like بەڵکۆ بەڵکی بەشکۆ or chunka, that's how we know it's a pāڕستەی هاوڵکاری. Here it has also screwed us again by bringing a meaning that is not related to the rules, because Kurdish Kurdish has rules, but the rules are constantly changing. And these rules that are constantly changing, at the same time, sometimes we have a lot of words and a lot of things that go outside of the rules. So I don't think the teacher will bring any things that go outside of the rules. He's probably going to bring us the related things. But it's also like, because these are more meaning based, these are the things that are rule based. So let's look at the examples. أو نهات وقتها بخانة شون كان خوش بو. He, talking about, you know, third person singular, he did not come to school because he was sick. Chunka, because, usually means that it's hawakari, usually. But like I said, sometimes Kurdish goes out of rules. Chunka nakhosh bu parse hawakariya, wasfikari shalase kedua boya hawakariya. It describes the work, it describes the action that is done in the shalasta, which makes it parse hawakari. Chunka nakhosh bu, because he was sick. He didn't come to school. Imagine this was a standalone sentence. Your friend comes up to you, is like, he didn't come to school. You're gonna ask why. And then he finishes the statement by saying because he was sick. So we have just, established something. We've added more meaning to establish a verb, and that has finished and added more meaning to it. And here we have the same thing, except its position is not based on the rules. When the bell rang, the students went inside. So we know that this is paڕستەکە because of the, because of the amrazi leg there, which is ka. When the bell rang, the students went inside. So we know that is related to chuna, because when the bell rang, that's when they went. So it's related. And so keep that in mind, but that's really all there is to the paڕستە series or the paڕستە explanation. I hope you guys benefit from this, and inshallah we all do well on the exam. But yeah, that's all. I hope everybody benefits. Have a nice day.